The greatest immediate threat to the United States and to the world is the threat posed by the rogue regime in North Korea and his continued efforts to develop a long-range nuclear capability.
North Korea may be building another launch pad near the site of the launch of this week's powerful intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM. Senior Foreign Affairs correspondent Greg Palcott has details tonight from London.
Well-orchestrated celebrations in Pyongyang today following this week's launch of an ICBM by North Korea, for the first time capable of targeting all of the U.S. mainland, potentially with a nuclear warhead. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un praised.
He has successfully realized the great historic cause of completing our national nuclear force and turning us into a country that has powerful rockets.
South Korean officials said today the new ICBM isn't foolproof.
Additional verification is needed on atmospheric re-entry, final phase precision guidance technologies, and warhead condition.
Still, experts say the missile would probably only need 2 or 3 more trials for it to be combat ready. And North Korea is apparently getting ready for more. Fox News obtained satellite photography that indicates the regime is building another launch pad. All prompting U.S. Ambassador to the UN Nikki Haley this week to make this warning.
If war comes, make no mistake, the North Korean regime will be utterly destroyed.
That prompting a strong response from Russia.
If someone wants to show his muscles, someone would like to annihilate North Korea in a bloody way. We will do everything to resolve the problem in a peaceful way.
Just to be sure, Hawaii tested attack warning sirens like this one. It will be repeated every month in the closest state to North Korea. Exercise is not done since the Cold War era. Even more analysis of this week's North Korean missile indicates that it could carry a nuclear payload of some 1,500 pounds, more than enough to do a lot of damage anywhere in the U.S.
The US National Security Advisor, H.R. McMaster, says the possibility of war with North Korea is increasing every day. On Saturday, at the annual Reagan National Defense Forum in California, McMaster said Pyongyang's nuclear program is the greatest immediate threat to the United States and that Washington is in a race to find a solution.
In your mind, what is the greatest threat to national security?
Well, I would say that as we look at the time horizon associated with threat, and so it's immensely important that we work together with all of our allies, partners, everyone internationally to convince Kim Jong-un that the continued pursuit of these capabilities is a dead end for him and his regime.
We're being told that the ICBM, the most recent launch, broke up on re-entry. Is North Korea having trouble on that re-entry step, and thereby right now the U.S. overall is not at threat from their ballistic missiles?
Well, it'll take some time to assess each of these missile launches, but what is clear is that every time he conducts a missile launch and nuclear test, he gets better. And whether it's a success or failure isn't as important as understanding that over the years, he's been learning from failures, improving, and thereby increasing his threat to all of us.
So has the potential of war with North Korea increased since this latest launch?
It's increasing every day, which means that we're in a race, really. We're in a race to be able to solve this problem, not just us, right, but the United States, all of our allies and partners. As we know, China has tremendous coercive economic power over North Korea. I mean, you can't shoot a missile without fuel, right? And so there are ways to address this problem short of armed conflict. But it is a race because he's getting closer and closer, and there's not much time left.
Recent data shows North Korea is advancing its submarine launch ballistic missile program. The U.S.-based North Korea watchdog 38 North says the regime has almost completed a second submersible ballistic missile test stand barge at its Nampo Navy shipyard. This is based on analysis of commercial satellite imagery from 3 separate days in mid-November. The barge will help facilitate broader testing since it allows for underwater missile launches outside of submarines, allowing North Korea's fleet to obtain SLBM capabilities. They'll pose a serious threat since they're more difficult to target and detect compared to land-based missiles.
A massive South Korea and U.S. military exercise will take place over the Korean Peninsula starting today, the largest joint drill the Allies have ever held. Designed to boost combat effectiveness against North Korea, the U.S. has sent some 230 combat aircraft, including the most sophisticated stealth fighters and bombers. Our Yoon Shin starts us off.
The air forces of South Korea and the United States are ready for another joint exercise set to start on Monday. The 5-day drill, dubbed Vigilant Ace, will involve more than 230 warplanes from both sides, including 6 U.S. F-22 Raptors and 6 F-35s, some of the Air Force's most advanced fighter jets. Throughout the training, about 12,000 personnel will demonstrate wartime defenses and airstrikes on mock North Korean nuclear and missile targets. The exercises come after the North fired an intercontinental ballistic missile last Wednesday. Pyongyang condemned the scheduled annual drill. Its state media said Washington is begging for nuclear war and claimed that the missile launch was a legitimate part of strengthening what it called its self-defensive nuclear deterrence.